Hello, Mr. As. Yes.
Problem.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I will start now.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second Freedom Barometer online interview. Today, we are going to speak on the topic how to defeat a communist heritage, and we are going to use Estonia as an example for it. A country which maybe had the deepest scars from the communist rule and which was on the bottom when it comes to the development and the quality of life. Estonia, however, managed to overcome it and to become a country in which serves as a reference point for most of the countries in the world. In my region from which I come, Western Balkan, communism is used as an excuse for not succeeding to do something, not succeeding to improve quality of life. On this topic, we are going to speak with Mr. Arto As, the Minister of Public Administration of the Republic of Estonia, and a person who has deep experience into Estonian politics. Hello, Mr. As, and welcome, and thank you for being with us today.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Yeah, we have some troubles with the internet connection, I believe.
Okay, let's try again.
Yeah, of course.
From better place.
Of course, I will start again, and yeah. So, hello everybody, and welcome to our second Freedom Barometer online interview. Today, we are going to speak how to defeat a communist heritage, and we are going to use Estonia as an example for it. A country which maybe has the deepest scars from the communist rule and which was on the bottom when it comes to development and quality of life. Estonia, however, managed to overcome that and to become a country which serves as a reference point for most of the countries in the world. In the region from which I come, communism is often used as an excuse for not succeeding to do something, not succeeding to improve quality of life. On this topic today, we are going to speak with Mr. Arto As, the Minister of Public Administration of the Republic of Estonia, and a person who has deep experience into Estonian politics. Welcome, Mr. As, and thank you for being with us today.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to speak to you.
Can you tell us, Mr. As, how Estonia managed to deal with the communist past and to become a country in which most of the people in the world would like to live in?
It is true that we lost almost 50 years under the era of communist Soviet Union, but starting from 1991, we left it all behind, and we started from scratch. So everything new was good, and we had very young people in the government. We we privatized as much as we could. We took the best technology in the world which was available at that moment, because we didn't want to use anything, any systems, any old habits that we had. And actually we missed those first years in the 90s, because those were the rapid growth years. And now, when 25 years later, we don't see so many reforms anymore, and the growth is not so fast. So actually, the first years were the most important, and we really had a right-wing liberal ministers, liberal governments, and it was very useful. And those were the years where everybody remembered and everybody knew very well what does the communist regime mean. And it was very clear that the socialism, those ideas do not work. They do not work in any level. So it was very easy to put that aside and to start with market economy and liberal ideas. Now we can see that 25 years later, people are already forgetting that this socialist system does not work, and those ideas are coming back, and we have to fight with those ideas every day, again and again and again. But yeah, we don't blame those communist years anymore. We see that we had enough time to do so structural reforms, and it has been really a success story for our people if you look at the salaries or the economic growth. So this liberal model works.
Thank you. And can you maybe say what were the most important reforms that Estonia conduct? If I'm not wrong, maybe liberal economic reform was one of the most important for the development of the country, especially in those first years you mentioned.
Yes, one very important reform was privatization. You should privatize as much as you can. And the second one, our cornerstone of our economy, was very simple and very liberal taxation system. Flat tax was, we were the first one in the world who introduced a flat tax system. And it was really easy to understand. The tax burden was quite low, so people started to pay taxes also, because when the taxes are too high in our societies, people just don't pay taxes. So very simple tax system, privatization, and electronical services, e-systems. You can find so many possibilities when you start using new technologies. And ID card, for example, and other e-services were also introduced first time in Estonia because we were not afraid. We were very brave in the 90s. Now we can see that people are more moderate, more conservative already. But those first years in the 1990s were the years where everybody were eager to try new things. Everybody were happy to make mistakes but try again. So it was good years. We had such a good energy.
Yeah, you mentioned technology, and Estonia is a good example of country which doesn't which want to try everything and only to improve the quality of life. And you mentioned those first years. Actually, Estonia was the first country which managed to deal with the communist regime, if I'm not wrong. And also, when we talk today about new technologies, Estonia is one of the most progressive countries when it comes to using of new technologies. So I must admire to that, of course. What I wanted to ask you is, considering your experience in politics, do you maybe have some advice for politicians in a post-communist country? What should they do?
Well, it's hard to advise. Every country is different, but I think you should trust newcomers and young people in politics. I had a chance to start with politics when I was 18, and now I'm in government. And we had very good relations with European liberals. It was very useful to travel around and to gather some new ideas around the world. And those contacts were very useful. Now we can teach others already. And Estonia is a very small country. On one hand, it's a problem for us. especially when you have such a big and aggressive neighbors. But on the other hand, it's more easier to implement changes in technology, in government. It's like a playground for big companies also. They can test new things in Estonia and new ideas, and if it works here, you can go bigger in bigger countries, and that was also a great example. But for politicians, I think the model is not very difficult. You must work hard. You must have very clear ideas, but in politics, you also must know how to sell your ideas. So be simple, be concrete. Liberals are always very rational. This was Estonian Reform Party's role also in the beginning. But to be honest, during the election campaigns, you also must be a little bit emotional, and you must be simple and emotional, and your ideas must be important for people. So stick to your ideas, but learn how to explain them in a very simple way.
Thank you, Mr. Raz. And maybe some final question. What are some changes you would like to see in Estonia in the future in order to quality of life be even better? As a minister, from that point of view.
Actually, at the moment, I'm in charge of the administrational reform. This is one of the last reforms we didn't do in 20 years. We have too small municipalities, and they are not strong enough. So at the moment, that's my main responsibility to reform the municipal level. But overall, we can see so much protectionism in Europe, so much socialist ideas that we basically have to stick to our roots, to our liberal classical roots, and to explain them, to defend them, and this is the only way. Estonia is such a small country that we depend on our neighbors, we depend on our external markets. We are very open economy, and I think this is the only way for smaller countries also in the Balkans. You must be open, so you must be very competitive. You must export, and this is our challenge. We don't want to be a very cheap labor force country. We want to produce higher quality, more value-added products. So this is our challenge at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Ross, once again, and I'm sure that with your leadership, Estonia will succeed to be at the top of each class, as I wrote in the introduction of this event for many years. Thank you once again for your time. I will not bore you anymore. I hope that you also enjoyed to give this interview, and I'm sure that politicians from the post-communist countries will have something to learn from, some lesson to learn from Estonia. Thank you once again.
Good luck to you also.
As well. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.